Feeling pretty good today. I decided I wanted to make a video. Hair's looking good. I need to shave. Video about perseverance. I was in a situation back in February, beginning of February. I had lost my job and I wrecked my car after I just fixed it up. I previously worked for a really good company. I had a company car, and I had another car that was kind of just sitting in the storage. Had a broken windshield, but once I got fired from my job, I had to fix up my other car because I was mainly just using my company car for transportation. And I'm not going to get into specifics, but a few weeks later, I ended up wrecking my other car, which is my only means of transportation. I was completely alone, isolated. Didn't have anyone or anything. Had to really go deep and reach within myself, use all my skill set, all my cunning, all my willpower just to get it out of that situation. And I made it out. And I've never been pushed to my limit like that before. Life has never pushed me where I had to really go as far as I possibly could into myself to survive. And I didn't even know. I just refused to give up. I had no way of knowing that I was going to make it out. There was no safety net. There was nowhere for me to go. I just had to just believe, and with the force of sheer willpower, just keep going and believe it would happen, even though there was no reason for me to believe that it would happen. And ended up getting in this apartment that I'm in now, the best apartment I ever owned, the first apartment I've owned completely by my own. And I did it with no car and no job. Now, as to how I've done it, how I did it, I'm gonna have to write a book because it's just a crazy story full of darkness and heartache and all that stuff. But it just goes to show what you can do if you just believe and you just don't give up. I think about myself as the fall of Icarus. And during that plummet down, I just said no. And I just grabbed onto a rock and I just fucking hung on. And I just hung on for dear life. And I just was like, no, I refused to go down like this. I refused to be homeless. I refused for my life to get to that point again. And I just kept believing, even when there was no reason to believe. And I just made a way for myself, and God made a way for me. And that's just what you got to do sometimes. You just have to have active faith and just keep moving forward and believing that a path is going to open up to you. And it will. It will. Nature really loves courage. If you have the guts to just keep going, no matter what you're going through, nature will find a way for you. And there was so many times where, well, I'm not going to say that. Most of it was just through hard work, dedication, and grit, and just willpower, just to keep finding a new creative solution, keep finding a way to keep going. And it got to a point where I had to put a down payment on this apartment. I had no way to get there. Ended up getting my Uber driver. It was his first day Ubering. And I was like, cool, I'll give you a bunch of money just to drive me X amount of time for the next few days. So that way you make some money for sure, and I'm not gonna have to spend a bunch of money on Ubers. And this dude was like, yeah. And if it wasn't for this guy picking me up that day, I wouldn't have gotten this apartment. Just stuff like that, because I had to get a money order and I had no physical cards, and when we went to the complex, because that's where I was on my way to that day, to get the deposit down payment put on this apartment, this guy, he had to end up getting out of the car and buying the money order for me and letting me send him the money on Cash App. So if he wasn't there, I don't know where I'd be right now. If he wasn't there for me to let me Cash App him and go get that money order for me and drive me with the little money I had left back and forth to where I was staying at before and where I'm staying at now, I don't think I would have made it. I had to really dig down deep. And just stuff like that, man, like just little things that you might not see as significant. That was a really significant moment. And even when I had to move in after I put that deposit down, I had zero money, had $0 the day before I moved in. And I just was like, I don't care how, I'm getting this apartment. And I kept having to push the date back, and they were getting frustrated with me. And I somehow, the day before, like the final deadline they gave me, had $0 to my name. I had no money whatsoever. And the next day, I somehow magically manifested over $900, and I got my apartment. And it's been a struggle. It's been a real struggle. But now I'm about to get one of the best jobs I've ever gotten. I'm about to be completely independent. I'm in a beautiful, beautiful apartment in a very nice area. And I got my dog with me. I've been taking care of my dog through all of it. Look at this mofo. Look at him. Wolfie. Are you a good boy? Yeah, look at him. But all I got to say is 7 times down, 8 times up. Such is the nature of life.